So Dad, how did you go about negotiating or attracting sponsorships or racing teams?
Yeah, well, attracting sponsors, finding sponsors for a racing team is one of the hardest things there is. It's really the toughest part of the sport. But unfortunately, as a driver, driving fast is not enough. So you have to be able to go out and you put together proposals, and you just on a hunch you go like, well, that company might be interested in sponsoring me, and it's like cold calling. You just approach certain companies, and 9 out of 10 times they send you away, and the 10th guy will send you away after the meeting. So it's not always easy, but it's also about the people that you run into at the races. For instance, I was competing against a driver for the Dutch Championship, and his sponsor, by following me because I was their biggest competitor, really liked me and called me after the season and said, hey, would you want to drive for my racing team? So obviously, as you go to all different races, you run into many people, and in a nice way you network. The one thing you don't do is go to another driver sponsor and say, hey, you want to sponsor me? That doesn't really work very well,
right?
Because that's just not doing it correct way, and ethically that's not correct. I've had that where people try to steal my sponsors, and then I would just call them and say, like, I'd get pretty upset about it because that's not the way you do it. But
yeah.
But you run into all these different scenarios, and what you also do is you meet people that want to represent you, and then they say, I probably could find you a ride, or I could probably find you sponsors to get yourself into this team. And long story short, for maybe 15 years, I always had to hustle a little bit.
Right.
But then finally I got my foot in the door. I drove an Indy car, and from that moment on, I was sponsored, not by going after them myself, but they would rather than come to me. Like Target. Chip Ganassi Racing had Target as a sponsor. Chip just asked me if I wanted to drive for him.
Right.
And so then I became more of an established driver, and you don't have to hustle that much anymore.